Welcome back to my channel. This time something different again. I bought myself an early Christmas gift, a long lost love, some baby Fahaka Puffers. A really restart of my aquarium hobby. Quite unexpectedly, I had the chance to get 5 baby Fahaka Puffers, a small group of my all-time favorite aquarium fish. They are really tiny baby fish, under 2 centimeters or 0.6 inches total length. Now why did I buy 5 of these aggressive and large fish? Well, they can grow to over 40 centimeters or approximately 1.5 foot in length, but I'm prepared for that. And 5? Yes, I want to keep them in group again. I did this before, many years ago, and the larger the group, the less problems with aggression. Certainly when you add some suitable tank mates to live with them. The first thing to do is get them in a small quarantine aquarium so I can see how they are doing, if they are eating, and treat them for internal parasites before they move on to a larger tank. It's certainly possible to keep these fish in groups, although each individual has its own characteristics and some may grow out to be overtly aggressive and have to be removed from the group. I did this in the past and only one specimen had to be taken out because of its aggressiveness. That one attacked everything that came near it. And I found a group of minimum 4 of these fish will do fine together even when they get to adult size. And to give you an idea of their current size, I put my thumb above one of them. When releasing them into the aquarium, it's important that the fish stay submerged. As their name suggests, they can puff up, and when filled with water, there's no problem. But when they fill up with air, that can lead to their death, especially at such a small size. Now I only filmed the release of 3 of them, so you can get the idea. And before the negative comments start showing up below, I know what I'm doing. They are kept in a small 20-liter aquarium during quarantine. This way I can really observe them, and it assures that they can find food easily, and also due to the lower water volume, it's easier to medicate and do daily 20% water changes every single day. This aquarium is also well planted with some added rocks and a piece of driftwood, so it creates hiding places for the fish if needed. This way they can stay out of sight if needed. An hour after release, they started swimming around and exploring the aquarium. There is some aggression between them, but that's because of stress. After release, I turned down the lights so they could easily adjust to their new surroundings. They're not very skinny, but they do show signs of underfeeding. Yet it's better to wait until they settled in before giving them any food, since I could have the risk of more digestive problems. However, there are some small pond snails in the aquarium they can nibble on if they want. Their Latin name, Tetraodon lineatus, refers to the lined pattern on their body that starts to appear when they reach juvenile stadium at around 5 centimeters or 2 inches. The most common name is Fahaka Puffer, and Fahaka refers to the Arabic word Fakha, which means first vertebrate. That's where the head attaches to the rest of the spinal cord, but why I couldn't find. Less common, it's called Nile Puffer, but also striped puffer, globefish or Lineatus Puffer are used around the world. They originate from Africa where they occur in rivers and lakes, from north to south in the Nile River, and rivers from east to west in Central Africa. They can be found in Egypt, Kenya, Sudan, Senegal, Ghana, the Gambia, Cameroon, Nigeria, Niger, Chad, Sierra Leone, Burkina Faso, and Guinea-Bissau. This map gives you a clear idea of where they can be found in nature. Looking at the other fish in the same import, my babies originate from the Congo River basin. Here's some footage of fishermen capturing fish and Fahaka puffers in the Nile Delta and Lake Nasser, an artificial lake created by damming off the Nile. You can find the links to the original videos down below in the description. They mainly can be found at the river's edges, where they live between the reeds and other vegetation, where they scavenge and feed on mostly crustaceans and shellfish. Fishermen spread out their nets and then splash in the reed beds to scare the fish into their nets. This way they have been catching fish for decades now. This captured Nile Puffer shows us how it looks when he's puffed up. And regarding the strength of their teeth, look at the chunk it bit out of the fishing hook. An adult Fahaka Puffer can easily crush through a human finger bone. So be aware and careful when doing maintenance in the aquarium. As mentioned before, their diet is molluscivore. Babies and juveniles mainly feed on insect larvae, small snails and small crustaceans. When they get to subadult or adult size, they eat larger hard-shelled snails and shellfish such as crabs, mussels, mollusks, and on occasion they can also catch a small fish. So here's some more info on how big they can get, the water parameters they need, and the expected lifespan of up to 10 years. So when buying these fish, it's a huge commitment. And although they are listed as territorial and very aggressive, my experience is, when kept under the right conditions and some good companion fish, they are mildly aggressive and can easily be kept in a larger group. Only at feeding time, you must take care not to feed them on one spot, but the food must be spread around the whole aquarium, so every fish can eat in peace. Here's a close-up of two of the babies on the first day. On the next day, it's time for the first feeding. They were fed defrosted frozen bloodworms, brine shrimp and a bit of live bloodworms. This is the equivalent of approximately 2 cubes of frozen food, and it was spread over 2 feedings, one in late morning and one in late afternoon. By the way, the pictures shown are from my previous Fahaka puffers. But unfortunately, one weekend when I was away in December, electricity went down, and when I came home 2 days later, all my fish had died. And then I decided that was the end of my hobby back then. I don't normally feed live bloodworms or any other food, but I just did this to trigger them to eat. As you will see, they eagerly start feeding and they seem to prefer the bloodworms. Although there's still a bit of aggression, this becomes less and less when they start to settle in. Their bellies are starting to round up nicely. Because they are doing fine and eating very well, I increased their food to approximately the value of 3 cubes of frozen food on day 3. Here the specifications of their current quarantine tank. And although small, they are doing fine. And keep in mind, I'm doing a 20% water change every single day. And this is what I've been eating so far. Frozen and live bloodworms, frozen brine shrimp, frozen krill and live small pond snails. Keep in mind that all frozen foods are defrosted before feeding. So far they have been fed every day, divided into 2 portions. And by the following morning, practically every single food item is gone. What's left is sucked out when doing the water change. In my experience, it is best to stick to their natural diet as much as possible and never feed them live foods. That is, with the exception of live snails. Feeding them live crabs or shellfish can injure your fish or transfer diseases and parasites. I found it triggers their aggressive behavior, and once they've got a taste, they can and most likely will attack all other inhabitants in your aquarium. Some fahakas are just killers. They can be very aggressive, either to counterparts of their own species or other companion fish, but I found most are quite docile. Over the years, I've kept 10 Fahaka Puffers, and only one was so aggressive that I had to house it in a separate aquarium. All others lived in groups, that is, I had a group of 4 and a group of 5 Fahakas, all living without any problems, accompanied by the more docile African cichlids. These included frontosas, haps and peacocks, and never had a problem. To avoid aggression and territorial fights, I always made sure that whatever food I fed, it was dispersed throughout the aquarium, so every fish got what it needed. I must say, this is my opinion and experience on keeping this lovely fish long term. So yes, they can be kept in groups, but make sure each fish has its own territory or hiding place, and when kept together with other fish, introduce these first in your aquarium, and after a few days, when they settled in, add the Fahaka Puffers. That's the way it always worked for me. So that's my first week with my beloved baby Fahaka Puffers. Thanks for watching, more updates will follow. Season's greetings and happy holidays, and see you soon.